quite frankly, the Patriots coaching staff cannot get outcoached like they did tonight. They got absolutely taken behind the woodshed by Bill O'Brien and Romeo Crennel for 3 quarters tonight. The offensive side of the ball for the Patriots, it was double Julian Edelman out of the game. We're going to put our top cover guy or one of our top cover guys on James White. James White's a great receiving back. You put a good corner on him though on passing downs, and it's good. He's not going to separate against a guy like that like he's a wide receiver, right? So they put Bradley Roby on James White for a lot of the game on third down situations, obvious passing spots. They doubled Julian Edelman. Crennel got some creative blitz schemes for Tom Brady up his sleeve as well. And it always seems like, even though the Patriots have tended to figure out Romeo Crennel eventually, the beginning of a lot of these games against Houston, Crennel kind of has some things up his sleeve that Brady is not ready for, or maybe he knows there's kind of a part of Brady's game that is going to get to him. And he did that again tonight. And on the other side of the ball, Deshaun Watson and Bill O'Brien had the Patriots coverage and defensively figured out completely. If it was man coverage, they were throwing to the backs and the tight ends. If it was zone, they were working the middle of the field. They were attacking the linebackers in coverage all over the field. And Watson kind of knew exactly what was coming and where his answer was to every little thing that the Patriots defense was sending them in that first quarter, first half, certainly. And I thought the Patriots defense pulled it out and figured some things out and were able to come up with a stop in some key situations in the middle portion of the game. And they gave up that last drive, which really put the game on ice for Houston. And I know that they got close there at the end, but I really think that if the Patriots want to get where they want to get to, they need their coaching staff to do what they did at the end of last year in the playoff run and outcoach everybody along the way and just be that much better between the ears that's able to kind of put them over the top. Because if they coach like they did tonight, where they got outcoached, quite frankly, just simply put, outcoached, they get outcoached again like that tonight, they don't have the talent on this roster to overcome it, at least offensively. So that's going to be the biggest thing moving forward. Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick, and their ability to figure out offensively first and foremost, but also how they can win football games against teams with good offenses.
So, Trags, I want to go back to something you said. Give me real quick 1-sentence answer, because there's one more thing I want to discuss. But you mentioned that Ravens-Bills game's next week, and I think it's interesting because the window Patriots fans view that game through really depends on how much you trust the Patriots and respect their ability to take care of business down the stretch, right? If you think that they can beat Buffalo week 16 and they can clean up on these bad teams and beat the Chiefs, you're obviously rooting for the Bills because you want to knock the Ravens off the 1 seed. But if you think the division could be an issue, then you're going to be rooting for the Ravens. So 1 sentence, who should Patriots fans be voting for in that game? Trags, you go first.
I absolutely think you want the Bills to win that game, because you've got to be able to trust that you're going to beat the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins in back-to-back weeks at home to finish the season if you're the team you think you're going to be. And if you do that and the Bills beat the Ravens, you will take care of the number 1 seed. More than likely, take care of the number 1 seed. And remember, the Ravens not only have the Bills left, they have the Steelers left. And the Steelers are likely going to be fighting for that 6th and final playoff spot in the AFC. So that's if I'm a Patriot fan next week, I'm rooting for the Bills.
Evan?
The Bills aren't beating Baltimore.
So you're just going to write off the question. Fine.
They're not going to be
but that's different, Evan, than rooting for them. If you're a Patriot fan, you're rooting for the Bills to win that game.
They were all rooting for the Niners today. That didn't work.
I would probably err on the side of rooting for Buffalo also, simply because I don't know if Josh Allen can beat Bill Belichick yet. I think Josh Allen could go out there and beat Jason Garrett. I think Josh Allen's played very well over the last couple of weeks.
Much better.
I don't think that Josh Allen's ready to beat Bill Belichick in Gillette with the division on the line. That seems like a lofty goal for him, certainly. So I would definitely root for the Bills next week, but they're not beating Baltimore.
All right, final point. I want to touch on it because we got to look at the other side, right? We talked about what the national narrative is going to be, and Brady fell off, and the offense is in trouble. The other side of the page, the other side of the coin is going to be Patriots were dealing with this illness all week. They weren't healthy. They weren't prepared. They weren't in condition. And it certainly did look like at times, and I don't want to come out and make full excuses, but especially guys like Hightower and Van Noy and Patrick Chung, who are all listed on the injury report with the illness this week, that they just were not in shape. They weren't as fast as they usually look. They weren't as strong as they usually look. How much, you can phrase the answer however you want, give a percentage out of 10, whatever. how much did that illness that swept through the Patriots locker room affect the outcome of the game Sunday night?
I'd say offensively, 5 to 10%, no more. What I saw offensively had very little to do with conditioning and more to do with execution and knowing the offense and being on the same page with Brady. I think very little to do with the illness that went through the locker room.
And most of the illness was on the defensive side of the football, too. I think
Correct.
Cannon was the only offensive player, Illuminor, but he was inactive. But I think Cannon was really the only consequential offensive player who was dealing with it. Although the defense, again, lets up 2018 with the short field. Evan, how much did it factor in for you?
Not a lot, because really all the issues that we continue to see are the same issues that we've talked about them having all season long. Like if the defense just looked gassed the entire game and was just, not playing up to its usual level in terms of flying around the field and all that kind of stuff, I would say a little bit more. But the reason why the Texans were able to put up points against the Patriots today were because their secondary guys not named DeAndre Hopkins, stepped up and made plays, and the coaching staff really called a very good game. So I don't really chalk it up to anything about the illness or anything like that. But I do certainly think that, in some respects, let's see what happens next week when this kind of bug gets out of there, right? And hopefully before we kind of just write them off against Kansas City completely, because I think a lot of people are already on to Kansas City and saying, how are they going to beat Mahomes after playing the way that they did tonight? Things change quickly in this league, and situations change quickly.
Well, we'll see. And next week is the big one. We've been calling it that since the schedule came out in April. I don't think we knew just how big it was going to be, but potential season-turning implications for the Patriots coming up next Sunday. We, of course, have you covered throughout the week up to and the game itself. We'll all be there in Foxborough when the Patriots take on the Chiefs. Follow along for all of your coverage, CLNSmedia.com, and on Twitter @PatriotsCLNS. This post-game press pass has been brought to you by betonline.ag. Visit their website and use the promo code CLNS50 for a 50% welcome bonus. It's also been brought to you by ExpressVPN. Check out every NFL game right on your laptop. Get your first 3 months free, totally free. ExpressVPN.com/beat. For Mike Petraglia and Evan Lazar, I'm Alex Barth. Thanks for watching.